welcome to another Hayley-Roxanna crafts video. This is my second video about crocheting, and in this video I'm going to start showing you how to do some of the crochet stitches. But first, I feel it is important to point out that the names of these stitches can differ depending on whether you are using UK terms or US terms. So if you're following a pattern, it is important to make sure that you know whether the pattern was written in UK terms or US terms, as mistaking one for the other will make a difference to your finished crochet piece. I learnt to crochet using UK terms, so if I'm using a pattern that was written in US terms, I will often pencil in the UK terms before I start to try to avoid making mistakes. As far as my videos on crocheting go, I will try to remember to give both the UK and US terms for the stitches that I'll be demonstrating, so that these videos can be helpful to you whichever terms you are crocheting in. The stitches I am going to show you today are chain stitch and double crochet in UK terms, or chain stitch and single crochet in US terms. So the first stitch I am going to demonstrate is chain stitch. This is one of the few stitches which has the same name in both UK and US terms. On a pattern it is often abbreviated to CH or CH. The number of chain stitches you need to do is sometimes given before the CH. Sometimes it's given after, just depending on how the pattern's being written. Chain stitch is often used as the base for a crochet piece, but they also regularly occur throughout your crocheting too. So I have got just some chunky yarn and a 6mm crochet hook to show you how I do chain stitches. To start with, you need to make a slip knot with your yarn. So I do that by just wrapping it over my fingers like so, popping my hook underneath and then just pulling through the yarn and pulling, and then pull one. It's called a slip knot because it does move depending on which end of the yarn you pull. And you just want to pull it so that it sits comfortably on the hook. You don't want it too tight that it won't move, but you don't want to do it too loose either, because then you'll end up with stitches that are too big. And then to do your chain stitches, all you're going to do is take the yarn over your hook like so, and then you just pull off that loop to make a chain. And you just keep repeating that, so yarn over and pull through until you have got the number of chains that you want. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to do 11, just for showing you. So there's 11 chain stitches. You want to make sure when you're pulling your chain stitches through that, again, you're not pulling them too tight, as the length of your chain affects the length of the crochet piece you're doing. Sometimes you might find if you're quite a tight crocheter, you may need to do your chain stitches to start off your crocheting piece in a hook size slightly bigger than the one you will actually do the rest of the crocheting with, just to make sure it's not too tight. But again, this is all just things that you have to try for yourself to work out what works for you. Because you don't want it too tight. You want to be able to get your hook back in between the chain stitches for the next row. But yeah, that's your chain stitch. Right. The next stitch I'm going to show you is called double crochet in UK terms, or single crochet in US terms. So on UK patterns, double crochet is often abbreviated to DC. and on US patterns, single crochet is abbreviated to SC. I'm going to show this stitch firstly worked into the chains to form the foundation of a piece. I will then show you how it is worked into a row of stitches as well. So working into the chain, there's actually a few ways you can do this. Whichever way you use, you always skip your first chain. But then you can insert your crochet hook either into one loop, straight between the two, like so, which is how I tend to do it. Alternatively, you could place your hook so that it goes under both loops, like so. Or some people prefer to flip their chain over and work into these back loops, so such as there, and pop your hook through there. It's all personal preference as to which you prefer to do. I always just work into the one of the loops. It's the way I've always done it. I don't think there's a right or wrong way. Like I said, it's just what you prefer, the effect it gives and what you're happy with. So I'll show you the double crochet now, and I will just do it working into the one loop. So I pop my hook through like so. You then do a yarn over, so you just take the yarn over your hook and you pull through. You then do a yarn over again, and as you see, you've got two loops on your hook now, so you then need to pull through both of those loops. Okay, so we'll do that again into the next chain. So I pop my hook into my chain, I do a yarn over and pull through. I then do a yarn over again and pull through the two loops on my hook. And then you just keep repeating that till you get to the end of your row. So I will keep going. Again, you don't want to pull too tight as you're doing this. You want to sort of keep it so that the yarn goes around the hook comfortably to keep the right size and tension. So you're not having to pull too hard to get your hook through. But at the same time, you don't want it loose so that there's lots of room between your yarn and your hook either. A lot of it is just practice, finding what works for you. So yeah, just keep doing that. So I'm nearly at the end. Last one. So hook through, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through the two. Some people will do yarn under when they are doing their double crochets. It all just changes the effect of your crochet piece. Start with yarn over. You could try yarn under for certain pieces. I know when doing amigurumi, sometimes yarn under is preferred as it gives a slightly tighter stitch. But it's just a case of experimenting and seeing what works for you and what effect you prefer. I don't think there's really a right or wrong way with a lot of it. So I'll now show you how I do the double crochet into the top of a row of stitches. Okay, so to start with, because I'm now at the end of a row, I'm going to do what's called a turning chain. So I will do a chain stitch like so. So I do a yarn over and pull through. So it's just one chain, and then I will flip my work. Okay, you can flip your work and then do the turning chain. Again, personal preference, doesn't really make any difference which way you do it. And I am now ready to come back along my work. So as you can see, if you look at the top, you've got like these V's, which is the previous stitch. And when I'm working into a stitch, I want to go under both of these V's with my hook, like so. Then I will take the yarn over the hook and pull through. So that gives me my two loops on the hook, and then I do a yarn over and pull through again. Okay, so again, it's just a case of then repeating that all the way along your row. So you want to put your hook under the two sort of legs of the V that form the stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through again. And we'll do that again. So you put your hook through the two legs, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through. And then you just repeat that all the way to the end of the row, and then you're ready to come back again. You might find that if you're finding it hard to keep track of where the ends of your rows are, pop a stitch marker into the first and the last of your stitches on each row to help you keep track of that. Anything to make life easier, I say. Nothing wrong with that. You could count, but there is always the danger that you'll lose count after a while, especially if you're talking while you're crocheting. So yeah, I'll just keep going to get to the end of this row. So making sure that you go under both loops. There are times when you are following a pattern or just experimenting where you may want to just go into one of those loops. Sometimes that is called going into the front loop only or back loop only. So the one nearest to you would be the front loop and the one furthest away the back loop. And that just creates a different effect to your crocheting for different patterns, for a bit of interest. So it's always worth experimenting to see what you get, but that's the standard way of doing it. And that gets me to the end of the second row. So I'll be ready to do another turning chain to flip my work and come back again if I wanted to. So that's chain stitch and double or single crochet, depending on whether you are using UK or US terms. Again, I would like to reiterate the importance of knowing if a pattern you are following is written in UK terms or US terms to make sure that you are doing the stitches as intended. If you've got any questions about the stitches I've demonstrated in this video or anything else to do with crocheting, please pop them in the comments and I will do my best to answer them for you. I have put links in the description to items that I have used in this video. Next time I will demonstrate the half treble crochet and the treble crochet, or if you are using US terms, the half double crochet and the double crochet stitches. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.